you. Thank you so much. So I'm Alex. I'm the Managing Director of Air Social Digital Marketing. We're just based just over the road from Kion on number 32 High Street. I'm delighted to be here and grateful to Kion for inviting me to present to you on this breakfast toast. So Air Social, my company, started around about 10 years ago, and it started its life as a PR agency. And around about 8 years ago, it was becoming increasingly harder to place my clients' press releases in newspaper and more easier to place content online. And my clients kept saying to me, well, what's the point of putting it online? No one reads anything online. Like, we need it in print, And so one day I took one of my clients' articles that was online and I posted it on my personal Facebook page, and all my friends started to read it, and I was like, oh, they're not the target audience, but this is really good. I'm actually able to prove that people are physically reading what I'm writing. And for me then, bang, my love of digital advertising and digital marketing was born. And back in the old days, with Facebook advertising, you should only be able to advertise sort of in the banners and in the blocks around, much like website advertising used to be. And then Facebook started to introduce these tools where you could advertise directly into people's news feeds. And I became incredibly fascinated by how that would impact my clients and getting their stories out there, their message out there. And now, you fast forward all the way to 2020 next year, and how much digital advertising has changed. And every year, digital marketing, it continues to go and change and form into new different tools that we're using. So what to look out for next year will be really important is building authenticity and trust with your audience. Now, by building authenticity and trust, I don't mean reaching out, right, let's find some influencers. Right, they've got 50,000 followers, so let's go find them, let's get them to post about our product, our service, and that's what the marketing we need to do on social. You're completely wrong. I believe now, looking at all the data that my colleague, digital advertiser Max, has kindly put together for us, we now know that 54% of UK Instagram influencers have bought their followers or engagement. 54%, that is huge. So when you're thinking of posting something on an influencer's page and thinking that it's going to reach out to your target audience and they're going to trust it, actually you're wrong. You're far better spending time yourself as a business, proactively engaging and building meaningful conversations. Facebook and Instagram, some of you may know, has been removing and trialling around the world at the moment the option of showing that you've liked a post. I believe that will start to happen soon in the UK, and very much so next year, where you won't have the ability. So long gone, like myself, will post something, brilliant, it's got 10 likes, everyone must love us. But I'm not so interested in that. I'm interested in seeing what people are commenting, what my clients are commenting about our posts, to then influence our other clients. So when you're thinking next year about building authenticity and trust, you need to be looking at the fact that 96% of people in the UK now, according to the data research, don't actually trust influencers. And if Facebook and Instagram are looking to remove engagement and likes off posts, you really do need to follow and make sure that you are having meaningful conversations with your clients online through any social media platform. Having meaningful conversations also means having clarity. The digital world is full of clutter and noise. Can you move on to the next slide? It's full of clutter and noise. Despite spending all this time using the internet each day, it's impossible to actually get your message across. So as a company and your brand, you need to have real clarity. On average, each day, we will be served 5,000 adverts. So if you're not clear in your company message, if you're not building authenticity and trust, it's going to be impossible to reach out to the people that matter to you most, your potential new clients. Throughout 2019, over 4.4 million blog posts were published. That's a phenomenal amount of content on the internet. And if you think about that, of all those blogs that were published, 59% of senior executives would have rather watched a video than read text on your blog. So that's why vlogging is really important, and looking at video marketing as the next part of your stage next year. Video marketing will be more and more important because, is it working? Video marketing will be, it's equally, important this year as it has been in the years building up to this. But video marketing will continue to rise, and next year I see this being even more of a phenomenal takeover. People at the moment, believe it or not, they'll go into a department store, for those of us that still are using department stores. The high street is obviously very quiet at the moment, but 88% of people in the UK will watch videos online of products that they want to buy. So even when you're looking in a store now, you may be thinking, oh, I really like that TV looks great. Oh, before I buy it, I'm just going to look it up online, I'm just going to watch a video about it on my phone. 55% of shoppers now say they use online videos while shopping in a store. So bear in mind, when you're talking about your product or your service next year, you need to make sure you've got some awesome video content. Every business has a story that can be told through video, and you need to make sure that your business, your product, your service next year is telling that story. It's building authenticity and trust, and it's having clarity on what your key messages are. No pressure. So when I talk about my fourth and final thing to look out for next year is chatbots and humanity. One of the trends you'll have seen over this year is more and more increase in chatbots. When you go onto a website, hi, how can I help you? And it's like, oh great, there's a picture of a person, it must be a human being. You type in your answer, let me direct you to our facts section. No, I need to ask a question. I need to speak to a human being. I'm getting really frustrated. Oh my God, go away, I've lost. It's really, really obvious that 75% of customers still prefer their queries to be handled by a human being. 63% of consumers believe businesses should all be on Messenger. So they expect you to be there and have all these online tools, but they still want to be dealing with a human being. 80% of routine questions can now be answered by chatbots. And whilst chatbots can undoubtedly be the most easiest solution for you on your website and to be able to speak to your customers in a fast and speedy way, just remember that all of your consumers, of 75% of them, they would prefer to speak to a human being. The one final thing that I'm very interested in myself as a digital agency, which we're now starting to roll out with our clients, is WhatsApp for Business. It's still being developed and there's still a long way to go with it next year. You're going to be able to advertise directly into WhatsApp business messages with your clients, and that's definitely one to look out for. And a year from now, I would imagine WhatsApp for Business will be a fundamental part of every business, not only communicating with its employees, but its clients, its service offering. That sort of brings me to the end of my short fire speed round on what I believe 2020 has coming up. If you have any questions, please go ahead. I can't promise to answer them all, but luckily for me, I've got Max, my digital advertiser, Freddie, my web guy, my social media guys, and also Will, who's currently streaming live onto Facebook. So I think, hopefully I didn't swear. Apparently I do swear quite a bit. But if anyone does have any questions, please do go ahead. Hi.
Hi. 2 points. Your customer service statistic on there about people preferring to have their customer service queries handled by a human being.
Correct.
A lot of those interactions aren't face-to-face. So is that statistic actually saying that whatever percentage of people would like to have their customer query solved by a reciprocating human voice?
it's more have a human on the other end of the chatbot rather than an automated response.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people are getting very frustrated online now, that they're led to believe initially they're talking to someone, a human being, but actually they're not. It's a robot.
But if that voice is indistinguishable from a human, then it probably is less important. But
Yeah.
at the moment, the technology is not there to quite do that for most people.
Yeah, I think so, and I think that's obviously, if you are doing chatbots and investing in it, it's really important to not just have a set standard of messages.
Yeah.
We've even found that on Messenger as well now for business, for Facebook advertising. You can have a series of set answers, and then actually you get to the point where you've lost someone unless you've set up an appointment with them.
Absolutely. Second question for you: what are your thoughts on voice search? Because there was the statistic that was thrown around apparently by Google earlier on this year that 50% of global searches next year will all be voice, and then Google probably denied that it wasn't there. I mean, how are you seeing voice search for the next year or so?
I guess at the moment we're not really using it so much as a digital agency, so I couldn't personally comment. I don't know if any of my guys have got any thoughts on it.
I actually looked into the stats for voice search, and it's quite low in the UK.
Yeah.
I think it was like 18%.
Yes.
So you're seeing voice search and voice more kind of in Asian countries,
Yep.
particularly where the language is more complex with the characters. So it's quicker for them to search by voice.
Yep.
So it's kind of, I think with voice search, you've got to consider what devices are people using.
Yes.
So if you bundle things like Alexa and Google Home Hub in, then of course the stats are going to go up.
Yep.
But for people actually sitting there on their phone and searching through Google, it's not really got to a point where it's significant in the UK yet.
I also
But
think
it is worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you never know when it's suddenly going to
I think voice
pick
search
up.
is still, there's very much a trust associated with it.
Yeah.
It goes back to the chatbot thing, because the questions that people are typically asking voice search nowadays are trivial. You can't have an ongoing conversation because there will come to a point where that voice search query will just go, I don't know.
Yeah.
So as that algorithm develops, then I will see.
And we may see with 5G coming in as well, speeds coming up, it may be that they're going to be able to process stuff faster, because that's the problem as well with voice. And you're right on people's concerns, because how many people do you run into who are convinced that Facebook is listening to them all the time?
It is.
Yeah, no one knows for sure if it is or not, because they're never going to say they are listening. But that's it, a lot of people have got their microphones turned off anyway on their phones, so voice search is kind of, it's hard for them to use.
I think as well though, chatbots are equally important. Like, I think everyone should have them on their website because it is expected, and that technology, as it's further being developed, it's just when you go on some websites, and I think that's the frustration for some consumers, where they do find it stressful if they then can't be led to speak to someone or pick up the phone.
Yeah, so I think that the hurdle that needs to overcome with regards to chatbots is the name itself, chatbot. People go, oh, it's a robot. If you were to literally go onto our website and a little messenger thing pops up and it's Dave.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, can I help you out? You're like, oh, cool, it's Dave. Rather than, oh, here comes an ambiguous little Android emoji or whatever it is. Just like, I don't want to talk to a robot.
Yeah.
So it can be pitched and sold in a more friendlier way that would perhaps make people think, oh, maybe there is someone on the other end. And then that goes to how much have you invested into the complexity of your chatbot to make sure that it's asking, it's not just going.
And that's what businesses should do. They should invest in it, because it's looking at the statistics. People do want to, they don't want to engage face to face. They want to be there typing, speaking to someone, which is why I think Facebook and WhatsApp for Business will work really well. But I do think there's a huge place for chatbots, and I think as the technology is getting developed, and companies should invest in it, because it does work. People will jump on your website as quick as they jump off.
And it is, you've got to think about what the chatbot's being used for. So people are a lot more happy to deal with a chatbot if they're just trying to find out like tracking information for the delivery. But if they want to deal with a return, or they've got an issue, then they want to talk to a human.
Absolutely right.
So you can kind of use chatbots to filter out all the easy to answer stuff at first, but you still need that customer service, real person there to deal with the complex issues. So it's a bit of kind of, we're in this space now where we're transitioning to being automated, but the tech is not quite there yet.
It's
almost, but not quite.
Nice, thank you both.
Hello.
What would you say about, so a lot of the companies we're working for now, messaging and sort of their brand pieces they're putting forward, they're sort of afraid to put video on sort of things like TikTok and things like this.
Yeah.
Do you recommend that they just do these sort of things, as in put them on this? As in stuff like TikTok, I mean, it's one of the biggest growing video services out there in terms of apps. And do you think they should just do that in terms of?
Yeah, I think with video, often people get hooked up in the kind of quality of it.
Yeah.
And so people think we can't do video marketing unless we've got like Hollywood level production value. And it's not, people just want to see good content. So it's the same as with written content. Provided that you're providing something that people actually want to watch and listen to, then they'll engage with it. So you should dive into it. I mean, TikTok's got its own host of problems. So it's kind of, there are advantages to jumping on TikTok now, because you're always going to get an advantage with a new social network. If you're the first on there, it's easier to build an audience and a following. So like, look at Facebook now. Facebook is so saturated that it's really hard to get anywhere just by doing organic stuff. Whereas on TikTok, you can easily build a following quite quickly. But then it's going to be the next hot thing that comes along. So it's kind of, is your brand right for that platform?
Yeah.
So I think that's really what you've got to focus on, is not, should I be on that platform, is my audience there?
Yeah.
Just speaking quickly of Facebook, sorry, I see you offering. Do you think, like, have you guys found, do you think, that the sort of rampant increase in fake news, especially on Facebook, has made it harder to get the sort of authenticity message out there? Because it just seems like every day there's a new story about how the Russians are popping election stuff into Facebook and influencing people.
We haven't found as an agency, with all of the fake news and all of the, the bad news over Facebook, that it's actually affected our clients in terms of the leads that they've had this year. I was really nervous when, all the press came out and, that would have an impact, but I don't know if we've...
No, I think people, they're more sceptical of the news now. Yeah. Whereas businesses, to a degree, I mean, Facebook's damaged its reputation a lot. Yeah. But as a business, if you're just honest and transparent with people, I think everyone inherently wants to trust. Nobody is going out their way to distrust everyone as a starting point. So long as you don't damage that trust at any point and don't give reason to people to believe that you're lying to them, I think you should be safe. Yeah. This is where it's very important to be authentic, to be clear and honest with your message, because it's so easy once you've lost that kind of trust, regaining it is the hard part.
Yeah, it's true.
Thank you very much. I'm sure Alex and her team will be around